The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. So like, I wanted to. So I wanted to play the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, right? And then I was like, dude, I don't own this game. I must have never played this game. And I almost bought the game. And then Origin was like, no, you played it, dude. And I was like, what? I don't remember it at all. And then he's like, dude, you played it, man. And I'm like, where's the game then? I don't have the game. And then he's like, check your Switch. And then I checked my Switch. I'm like, he crazy. I never played this game. And then in the download, I had this game. And I was like, oh my gosh. What the hell? Why do I not remember at all? So I'm like, I feel like I need to revisit. I need to revisit the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm revisiting it. It was in the special content. Is there bikinis or something? Girl gotta know. Do I get bikinis or something? What is the special content? Excuse me, Taylor. What is this one? It's like a steampunk? Is that what it is? Oh, I see. So this is like a steampunk kind of. And then this is like Japanese, but then this is like steampunk kind of. I hate that her hand goes through her bag. I wish they would have not let her hand to go through her bag. Then I think I might have liked it. I honestly... I don't know what it is. I like men with more clothes than less clothes. Is it just me? I'm not interested in men with like less clothes. More clothes, it's like it's more interesting. For females, it might not be the same, but... So back in 2021, when this game was released, I was like huge pogged and played it for Weeb Wednesday, but I literally do not remember anything. And I'm like, I gotta revisit this. And I was thinking, you know, honestly, revisiting some of the games that I played for Weeb Wednesday might not be a bad idea. The fact that I like constantly only played new JRPGs, not like new as like it just came out, but more like I only played it for like 2 to 3 hours and then, you know, like move on kind of thing. And some games, they do deserve just that 2-3 hours, you know what I mean? Like they don't need any more. Like that 2-3 hours is good enough. But like some games, you know, it's like a wine. You just gotta give some more time to develop the flavor. And I think this game is one of it, and I think there are many games that we should revisit. So I think, not saying from now on, because it was never a rule that we Wednesday that I'm only gonna play a new game, because that wasn't really the case. Because we did play Mary Skelter 2 on we Wednesday like few times. So I think, you know, I think revisiting some of the old Weeb Wednesday, especially like the good ones, not like the ones that like the fan favorites, I should say. Fan favorites, revisiting them. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think I'm gonna start doing it. And this game is the first one to do it, other than Mary Skelter 2. The good ones like Mary Skelter, excuse me, do you have a problem? Excellent work, Yunosuke. That was superb. Oh, my heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, look at you in there. You were drenched in sweat. Your eyes popping. My eyes popping! It's so... Oh man, the Fawn Flames cursed Photoshop of my face. My eyes popping, Monka. Your knees knocking and you were grinding your teeth. I was grim sight, but before I knew it, you would start finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. Testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it! It's terrifying! If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of the courtroom again! Ha 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 ha! Anyway, it looks like we have exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett. How do I pronounce that name? Giselle? Well, how do I don't know this name! What is this? Can I just say Miss Brett? A student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of the observation are one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman? Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. And just after I bent down to pick it up, bang! I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet. And he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shot in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Cursed mustache. Professor Mikotoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You have exceeded my expectation, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in infancy. Our justice system even more so, which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who cannot help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life, I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? Huh. So that's your stance. I was afraid you would feel that way. Kazuma! Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes. You need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in the restaurant. I must say I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA. And it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from the Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as soon as possible. But let's not forget who we are going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to squash your case. But I've no doubt that your pair will put up a good fight, right to the last. Best of luck! Thank you! Now then, I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Defend the Naruhodo! Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow. Before those old fossils know what's hit them. Kazuma? What? Thank you. Really? What for? Well, if you haven't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I would already been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. Humu. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from the Yume cafeteria on University Street. Sukiyaki! I love sukiyaki. With an extra large portion, of course. Ha 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 ha! Excuse me, now kiss? The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Ouchie. Ouchie! Have you managed to... Oh, I forgot how to say this name. How did I pronounce? Subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Sorry. Let the government scrutinize? Scrutinize? That's their job, it's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we have forged with the Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down on our nation founders? Terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nation is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Yunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is that what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Just shut up, you jumped up rookie boy. You and your friend know nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. Monka? That's such a Monka face. I won't deny I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold its truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Well said, Yunosuke. Despite the wide-eyed look of terror. You little brats! Thanks to you, Thank you, Council. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from the Great Britain, Miss Brett. I don't know how to pronounce her first name, so yes. Giselle? I don't know. Your Excellency! Yeah, she got cinnamon bun hair. Well, what a delightful it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land. Tea! Someone bring English tea! In England, no discussion takes place without tea. Is that true? No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at the La... Yeah, we know all about you already. Inspector Hosonaga, where is your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your power of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Ninosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please? That's not English. So true. I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but, what? The lady says her name is, Jezile Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student, currently enrolled in Newman University's medical faculty. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song. As far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yeah, I agree. You obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You have clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ninosuke. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago at a restaurant called the La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? She says yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she cannot speak any Japanese? She would like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following a special order from the bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say... Yes, it would appear that the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Order! Order in court! Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. Shabong shabong, shabong shabong, shabong shabong shabong. Ahem. Witness testimony. A frightening and sorrowful sight. Shabong shabong, shabong shabong shabong, shabong shabong, shabong shabong shabong. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. Shabong shabong shabong, shabong shabong, shabong 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 shabong. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument. Then not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. Shubabong, shubabong bong bong, shubabong chong, shubabong bong. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. This is the condemning... No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all. Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard, and look at this snow-white angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe. Ugh. You're still making the same mistake, Yunosuke. You mustn't blur out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. Oh, so he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statement from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before and reported back to the bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so, on the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. Are you serious? There's so many freaking ways to conceal a firearm. Maybe that stupid ass swan is a firearm, dude. Maybe that shit just lays a cannonball. It looks like a freaking cannon, dude. I would think she would hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have to hide a weapon can be shown, this is moot. That's dumb. There are no pocket in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Yeah, literally everywhere I would call a pocket. Those are the witness's own words of the matter. Ugh, that's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I would prove it. Don't think about doing anything rash, Yunosuke. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun that day. You're right about that. Which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. Shabong, 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 shabong. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Shabong, shabong, shabong. I'm glad, like, they don't speak in British accent. Well, like, technically they are, but then, like, it's not legible. So that I don't have to use my damn British accent. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. A photographic print that shows the victim. He was shot from the front and the chest subsequently died. He obviously effing ordered food, dude. He was unable to eat, you say. And that was because he would just had a tooth removed at the Hara clinic, correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She would have heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left. Oh dear me, what a harrowing experience to have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you into this terrible plight. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all. Chabong, 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 chabong. That's right, other than some carbonated water. Just water. Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the dinner toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Rinosuke, about the witness's last statement? It's very meaningful. That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a found bearing on this case. Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing, huh? The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Well sidestepped, counsel. Very well, Miss Brett. Kindly repeat what you just said to add it to be your added official testimony. Oh, what the heck? The mask is smiling now. Gladly, she said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right? I can really use that phrase! I would hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Rinosuke. I ordered a beefsteak for myself and the professor, and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. Is that a carbonated water? Hold on. Are those safe? They are. There gotta be something. There gotta be something. Maybe not right now. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument. I never got into an argument with the professor. All I did when I noticed him was go over to say hello. Please don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must all speak English. I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever, or only the presence of a beautiful woman, huh? Well, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that will unravel her testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties with you, what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still have some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I finished my coffee and stood up to leave. Then not long after, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. What do you mean he's gone? Like I said, I did not shoot that gun. And like I said, there's no point repeating this assertion over and over. Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side. Nevertheless, defendant, you cannot deny that when the shot ranged out in the restaurant, you had your gun in your hand. Well, yes, that's true, but all I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes, there was someone much closer to the victim than me at the time. The highly suspicious lady. That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel. Dirty? Your baseless accusations could very well cause an international incident, boy. It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours. What a nonsense. The lady is merely stating what she saw. And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned anyway. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. It's all very well saying that, but can you prove it? Absolutely, I verified it personally. You verified it? Yes, immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctively remember her saying I'm not. That's all you did? You just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. No. Why on earth not? The honorable English gentleman clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was absolutely no need for any further probing into that matter. Or there was no permission given for any further problem or probing into a matter, perhaps. Think what you will, but if you're going to continue with the preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands that you support your assertion with facts. In other words, he wants evidence. Shabong, 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 boom, boom, boom. The lady wishes to point out the fact, of course, she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation, but she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave. Not to mention the fact that your office had told you to get the woman out of there. Not get her out of there, I just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she is in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime, which is why she's only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today, of course. Unlike a certain student who refused to admit when the game is up. You could at least have the courtesy to pay attention when I'm goading you? So she's mainlining that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him. Which is an out-and-out totally unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young, and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. I'm dressed exactly the same as you are, except for the flapping red ribbon. Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose her testimony as the fiction that it is. If we cannot do that, the trial's over. Even you, with your thick skin, must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Only too well, I feel half dead already. And the fact that I cannot see a single inconsistency in her testimonies isn't making me feel any better either. The first thing to do is press her on any of her statement that seems even slightly off to you. Do that and an opening will present itself, I promise you. I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind a mask. That's what I should be aiming for this cross-examination. Dude, I feel like after finishing the first Ace Attorney, I feel like I'm such a better reader at the Ace Attorney games. I feel like I leveled up on like reading in game. You know what I'm saying? Like reading out loud. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with the Dr. Wilson that day. I ordered a beefsteak for myself and the professor, and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. So both of you and your professor drank this carbonated water, did you? Yes. Being the waiter, I poured the 2 glasses myself. I clearly remember doing so. Except you're actually a detective? Well, there's only 1 glass on the table. Let's go, baby! And the beefsteak, that was for you, Miss Brett. The lady says that she would have heard it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its door to the world. Yes, that's true. What a frightful place, is the lady's opinion. And I've heard it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful. Every country has its own cuisines. As long as people have food to eat, what does it matter what it is? True, come to think of it. The first time I tried carbonated water, it was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. But anyway, back to this witness's statement. Somehow, I feel like there is something out of place in what she's saying. We need to pounce on even the slightest thing now, because you never know what might lead us to our goal. Our goal is turning this trial around. Understood, Kazuma. Can I not show this that it only has 1 glass? Oh, present. That's it! Let me just confirm something, please. It's, to do with the photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. Shabong-bong, shabong-bong. That is correct, the lady says. Well, it's odd, very odd. Dear me, what's odd is the defendant's inability to express itself. Rinosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. The cheers? Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor had cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table and not 1. Ah. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here. Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over a minute? How do I say that? What possible differences does the presence or the absence of the glass make on the case? Minute? How come everyone's saying it right? Minusha? Manati? Minute? Minucha? Minute? Minute, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed the glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Seriously, it's minute? I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me you can clink with only 1? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Shabong bong, shabong bong, shabong. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was also terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I've been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious. Zoe? There, as I assured the court before, this is no consequences at all. Oh, please! We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or two in her state of disarray? That's absurd! Absurd? Oh, really? So do we take it that you're now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief? What? No, no, no! This can't be put down to a mischief! I would like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. Shabong bong, shabong bong bong bong, shabong. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency, a small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact that remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. This student has been trying to confuse the court with the logical reasonings, but in the end, it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as why she removed her glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance, there it is. The handbag! Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, to try to keep up. It's already been explained in the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated that the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you would pick up on that too. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No! Order! Order! What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Auchi? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Oh my god, the blood! Oh, what a sorry situation. Clearly, you have no faith in the police. Huh? As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. Skirt? I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. this photographic print. This print is a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through it to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are in height of the fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Wow! Order! Wait, I'm just gonna put it on auto so I can eat my bread. Haven't had lunch, so we. But definitely in that photo, you can see the dude's wrist, and then like he has like the bull mark, which is like the part of the steak dish that they had. So it has something to do with like him burning his wrist on it. Get up, Naruhodo, we can do it. I'm in worse situation than I thought. Game over. Whoa. This can't be happening. And Kazuma. His dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Is there really no chance of turning it around? Monka? There's no way. Ain't no way! But your excellency. Just a moment ago you said this. Now that means if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail I mean, the ruling on the case at this time would be out of question. This blatant straw clutching. Look at the photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with the evidence. You would better know what you're doing, Yunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we glean any new information from this handbag. My thought exactly. Not the handbag, look at the freaking wrist, my boy. Well, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There is something about this photograph which it doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Very well, I will grant the defendants one final opportunity. What? But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify the court where the print we see the significant detail to which you have alluded. What does it say? Hi! Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description. Oh dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly that has nothing to do whatsoever with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Aochi pointed out, unless a firm connection to the cause can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise detail of the burn. Shabong bong, shabong bong 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 bong. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course, Your Lady. We shan't hatch you up any longer. Or hold you up. It's like held you up. What you thinking, Inosuke? Do you believe this burn mark has anything to do with the case? Obviously! Obviously! If we can just link the burn to the case. If we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again. Pry? Just give up, counsel. You cannot possibly hope to do that. Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I cannot allow you to pursue what is little more than the conjecture. But if we had evidence? Evidence that the irrefutably linked the burn mark on the victim's wrist on the case, then you would allow it? I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? I had to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn mark. I mean, this is this. What is this, Council? Yet another print. Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at this scene, we miss things. But in the photograph, things we have may overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further really would be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusual shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How? You cannot fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is it in the photograph that explains the reason of the victim's burn? Beep, 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 beep. The beefsteak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Oh! Your Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there is an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of the trademark of La Carnival? Oh. This emblem on the plate. And the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ah! Yunosuke, you genius! You are spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. Jet Tao, thank you very much with the prime sub. Thank you. But even if that's the case, we cannot know if it happens on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well, sadly, Persecutor Aochi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Discernible? Discernible? Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion at the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it is not particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I would have been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I have not heard anyone scream at all. As the head of waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter! There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burned themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There was no question of that. And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream. Not on that day or any before it. That's right. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the surgeons, and the old antique dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Aochi? Well, yes, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Yunosuke, do you think? Can it really be true? I never dreamt we would arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we have led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent possibility. On the day in question, when he suffered a burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was already dead! No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting... Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. Already? Dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead! That's madness! Order, please. Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right, that's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts. No, Prosecutor Aochi, it's you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon? As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down! Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. But Your Excellency! The justice system in our country may be in its infancy. But rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'll be delighted to help. Especially if it helps the relations between my country and yours. Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? Hi! Nihongo suki desu! Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all. But then why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tone as much as possible. But it seems the man in this land possesses none of the chivalry virtue of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on our own level. Well, you're the epitome of the true English gentlewoman. We're truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words. about the event leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. Send her to the gulag. Send her to the gulag. So we're finally going to hear our own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Yunosuke. The victim's death. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glass in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative technique probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it. I hope that this is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tone of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Thanks? Was that a prayer then? Well, you will have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with the cross-examination now. I expect you would have noticed this little bully of a student, as you put it. Doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problem with this witness testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Hi. Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report shows no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. Hold on, is that true? Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Blood loss. Well, I think this is it. Yes, it is written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma. Yes. Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us, and as there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death. It can only have been the bullet from your gun that put an end to the innocent man's life. But it doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. And if the victim's burnt his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, then he must have already been dead at the point. And yet, the fact is, the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence to dispute that, this is a complete waste of time. I concur. Prosecutor Auchi is right. If there's some other way, show me. But of course, this country, if you're in the tech, they probably wouldn't pick up on it. Without leaving a trace. If someone is shot or strangled or stabbed or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body. Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga? As I've said, I always aim for a flawless investigation. There would be a physical traces with all those cause of death, that's true, but maybe there is some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it? Oh no! Perish the thought! Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question! On my honor, I, Taketsuchi... What a name! Taketsuchi Auchi will cut down any who dare cast such aspiration. A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yes, evidence. Hold on. Not history, They've gone through a dental treatment on the day. Whoops. I should have gone back, not like that. What do you think, Nunosuke? I don't know. I think this could be hard work. She can speak Japanese brilliantly, but she doesn't seem to want to say very much. The more she says, the more she will likely give away. This English woman knows that only too well she's quite formidable. Dr. Wilson's burn tells us something, I'm sure. I need to use this cross-examination to find out what. First things first, I'm going to press her on everything she said and try to make her blur out something. What is it, Kazuma? What are you thinking? Oh, don't worry, it's nothing. You heard a man! Press on everything! But his hand was on the searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You cannot not have noticed. Do you think so? Let me ask you something. Sorry? Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those slightly black trouser of yours had been wide open. You cannot have not noticed, can you? Huh? What? Wow! Haha, what fun! You haven't realized. The dear lady is absolutely right. As your friend, you embarrass me as well as yourself, Yunosuke. Oh, come on! Why didn't you tell me? Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brain imagine such a thing? Oh yes, I think my tiny brain can. Well, I can't. Anyway. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised glasses in a toast. As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right? Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at that time, if you remember, which explains why he ordered that drink, correct, waiter? Exactly as you say, sir. Although, whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table, I'm afraid I don't remember that. Damn you. Ah, I have enough English to understand that at least. For the benefit of the others in the courtroom, it means bless you. I think it means the exact opposite. Anyway. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report shows no other possibility cause of death besides a gunshot. There's some other way the means show me. This one. Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the land of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for the later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it, isn't that so? Quite right! La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just day after the incident. Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. It doesn't even occur to you, naive detective, to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as you can. You understand? Haha, a killer blow! The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful. Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouch is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. What do you think, Dinosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find the chink in her armor. Kazuma. What, Yunosuke? There is one thing I noticed, something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her, Inspector Hosonaga. The detective? Yes, he seems to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant, if it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on the last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then, I wonder what Kazuma is thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on our last statement again. Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you will find often let their guard down. You're right. Look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man and his train of thought. Sorry, pursue? I explain how to do it now, Rinosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. What marker? At the moment, we are focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right, you can turn your attention to the other people instead. While you're looking at the other witness, you'll be able to pursue them with A. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere among the people on the stand, take a good look around. Alright then, so first, I should move the marker across and focus on the detective. Then pursue him with A. Okay, here we go. Oh, there you go. Excuse me? What the? What is the meaning of this? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say. If there's something you would like to say, please, share it with the court. What is the meaning of this? It's the delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. If you cannot find fault with the testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately. Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. Huh? The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosonaga? Yes? Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes, if you don't mind. I would like to speak. The lady's right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I will tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see? I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. Crime scene thief? Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched the nerve there. Take this for example. This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there is some left in the bottle, I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming, I guarantee it! I cannot say I condone the witness's action, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as an evidence. The carbonated water the victim and the Miss Brett shared on the day of the murder, it was on the victim's table. Miss Brett, can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. Ahem. Do we present the glass or the bottle? Examine. The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. This must be very expensive water. Yes, but what does it say? I can't even see what it says either. Then go to France and ask? You could just say that you don't know. So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. It looks like there is a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much I'm absurdly parched. I'll just have a sip of this. Oh, what the heck? Yunosuke! What are you doing, you little dummy? I wonder, could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. Oh my gosh, Ruka. No, you don't. No, you don't. Hold on. But it was corked. Here? You see how it's corked here? But then this is not corked anymore. Or is it? Yeah, it's corked. That's not the point? I don't think there's anything on the ground. It was uncorked because they drank it, makes sense. No, but in the picture they already poured the drink. You can see there's water in the glass, but it was corked. Oh, Oh, not odd. I wanted her to ask. I wanted him to ask about it. Not odd, you silly. I wanted him to ask about the cork or something. But I guess I can't do that. I couldn't, oh, whoops. I didn't mean to press that. Derby derp. Can I do this? Excuse me. Do you have anything to say about that, Miss Brett? No, nothing. So nothing strikes you odd when heard that last statement? Only your approach to this trial. Nothing else sprang to my mind. You people are so uncivilized. It's unseemly to make ideal conversation with a gentlewoman, you know. Okay, I'll do my best. I mean, because there's water in the glass, and then it's corked up. But I cannot, like, see the water or anything. It's not like I can, like, see this, do that either. I just like, I want to do something with the water, but then it's more like I'm stuck with how the game, like I don't know how the game want me to present it. Cause like, he doesn't know what it's written in French if the water is there, and then everything else is like nothing. Which is fine. But he says like there was a possibility, ... How do I, maybe I just like, go like this, and then he'll talk about the possibility? I think that's what I need to do. All the bubbling away on the surface. To be honest, you keep surprising me every turn. Sorry? Oh, never mind. So we know that Dr. Wilson was killed at another time. Around the time the steak was brought to his table, and by some means that left no physical trace on his body. If he could just demonstrate how it was done. Well, I do have one idea about that, about how the professor was killed. Maybe I should just present the evidence and see what happens. I did that! I did that, and then I thought that's what they wanted, and I did it, and then I... Oh, maybe like here, without the trace. What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there's one method of killing men without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Poison! On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order! Order! And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as a professor and able to sip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could possibly have done it. Gisali, Brett, it was you! This is outrageous! To suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence! You little rookie imbecile! Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusation could jeopardize the entire treaty? This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with the respect to one crime. What? The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth. Ahem, if I may. I will silence you forever for this river. Shut up! It is you who should be silent. Of course. Dear lady. Where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. Sorry, lady, what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior, but no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contains poison or not. Of course. You did. Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And what did you find? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could not find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. I'm very grateful to you, to all you Japanese. You have successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours. I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if it was poisoned. Thank you, Counsel. I think that cross-examination has certified or clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon as only possible culprit, I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Brett. Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? Kazuma? I'm sorry, Inosuke. I have nothing more. Well, if you excuse me now, I really must be leaving. That kept... Oh! Let's go! They must have investigated the glass. Please wait! Isn't that... What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, judicial assistant to the defense. Mikotoba? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. Pikachu! And in her hand, she carried a small package wrapped in the furoshiki cloth. To be continued? Excuse me? It's obviously poison in glass. There's a poison in the glass, not in the bottle. So obvious. I'm just gonna finish my bread. Yeah, and that's why she took the glass in her purse. What the hell? The female's not allowed in a courtroom? It's research. What if they made like a new talk thing? Courier. It's a new toxic. Miss Brett must have used Britney's toxic. Baby, can't you see? I'm falling. Unyielding stare of a Japanese warrior. Hiya! The Japanese language makes no sense, excuse me? Are you too dumb to understand? What is the new evidence that demands the court's attention? It's my student pin! My bottle of piss! Miss Brett, we understand you are studying under Dr. Wilson at Newman University doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison! What? Poison? Where are you going with this, Council? A toxin known as the curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death. What complete and utter nonsense! Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of the curator before one very simple reason. 'Cause we made it up. It doesn't exist. Correct. Which means... Curare? 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 Are you guys like rattling me? No matter what test the police can do for toxin, they would never identify curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of the highly deadly poison. Order! Order! Council, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to trace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among the European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. And it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by the explorers. It claims that the animal shot by an arrow laced with the curare suffers instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett? Trumpery! These aspirations are utterly trumpery. To start with, if the victim has been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and other diners would have surely noticed. That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it is the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that the cure array was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters the person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he would collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for a support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effect could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I say, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous! To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moment would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly cure-array poison. Is she gonna take her hat off now? And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison. This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hetero unknown poison for which there is no means of testing? What a happy tale for the defense. Ahem, if I may. All these facts. You think you're so clever, but you must... It is you who must be taught. Oh, of course. Dear lady! So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the result as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree? Enough of this! I, for one, refuse to accept it! The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules! What's so funny? Oh, excuse moi, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett? May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes, I don't see, why not? Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Sorry? I mean, isn't UK also an island? Who's calling island boy, man? To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is just a farcical comedy. Your little police games and those foolish courtroom antiques, it's laughable, really. Island boy! But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers! Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Well, obviously... it's not poison, I guess? Whatever is this matter, you all look quite stunned. So no curare. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're trying to say? Ha 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 ha. You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that is quite the truth. Thank you for presenting the finding of my research so concisely here in the grand venue, most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Oh, yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. This doesn't make any sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how? How did she swallow the whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose that if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation for the next party I attend in London. There has to be been a poison in the bottle, doesn't there? But there can have been, because otherwise she would have kneeled over dead. Come on, Yunosuke. We have all the clues now. The bottle of water contains no poison. As I thought, there is no poison in the bottle. What? Why, Yunosuke? Isn't it obvious? If there was poison in there, she would have died by now. Sometimes your unadulterated naivety really astounds me, but sometimes it's in the need of the good staining until it is as dark as your uniform in the ways in the world. Oh, is that what is the color was supposed to represent? That was guiltyless ending of the promising line of the... Ah! It was poison?! Well, now, it wasn't in the glass? It was in the bottom? I'm shocked. I thought it wasn't in glass. That's why she took her glass. But it wasn't the glass, it was actually the bottom. How exactly? One by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the courtroom somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed? Examine. A poison made from the bark of the contained tree in the jungle of the South America. The hunters of the region have used this since ancient times to incapacitate the prey. Cause of paralysis. The above mentioned effect occurs when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as the inflicted by the blowpipe dart. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have applied an anesthetic. However, a solution of the respiratory risk caused the result of full body paralysis was found first, so the patient will be died of suffocation. By the wound. By the wound? I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Sato-san's notes. It will direct us to the pertinent section. The wound. Ah! Wait, hold on. practical application? I don't know. Special characteristics. Special characteristics. We've been hearing a lot about this curare poison, and it's left me curious about something. Oh, council? Well, it sounds as though the indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of the arrow that they shoot at whichever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please. But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be a trace of poison left in the prey that the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they would be eating the poison. Good gracious, council. No, that would be madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of this particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effect. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effect whatsoever. What? Miss Brett, you authorized this research. You knew curare's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of the drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little... Oh my god. Oh my god, her mask grew. Well, Yunosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you would be. Really? Me? A lawyer? All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure, but I fail to see how it possibly... So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in the book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus. Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they? Airy, thank you very much for 10 months. Thank you for the prime stuff, thank you. The professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? That's right. Good gracious. That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? Order in court, order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest... Yes, this curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case of the trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you would understand something as simple as that. What is this welling up inside of me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. Caw! Objection! Let's go! I don't think so, Miss Brett. Ha! How dare you use the tone with me? You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why. Even though you both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we now know that the poison is completely harmless when indigested, why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the curare? With the scar, bro! Oh, not that scar! Bullet wound! I'm stupid! Bullet wound! Bullet wound! To be fair, the burn wound is still a wound. But whatever. The freaking wound is a wound! It's okay! Bullet! Yeah, give me the freaking bullet! I understand! Those freaking people talk, people talk. Total talk. Ah! Wisdom teeth removal! Wisdom teeth removal! I'm freaking out, dude. Holy shit! Holy shit! There were so many wounds on this guy. He got a fucking wound in his mouth. He got a fucking wound in his chest. He got a fucking wound in his wrist. Come on, man. He was full of wound. However, there was a fundamental fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference. The toxic effects of the curare only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside of the mouth of the person drinking the poison water? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been into the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Oh! Miss Britt, you have acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I cannot resist. These childish courtroom games and you half-baked arguments are so puerile? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You will find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might have happened to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. No! What is this? What just happened? It's the English woman. She just smashed that bottle. And the Supreme Court, what a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from the broken glass as possible at once. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of the mind to recover it. Ha ha ha! How could you? You will get away with this! Oh, you can thump the bench of the shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we will never know now, will we? If there's really was a poison in the bottle or not. You. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel, for the prosecution? Oh, of course, of course, of course. You're referring to the photographic print, I assume, dear lady. That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it is as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So, of course, the only person who would have shot him from the front is a little schoolboy. No! You killed the victim that day, using curare. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, You waited until he picked up the pistol you have arranged for him, find out the floor, before you shot the professor dead by the chest with your own hidden gun. Then in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was to turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit the crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remaining unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in the cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now, is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke, yes? We have come this far, but now you're only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We have lost a vital piece of evidence. It's true, so if there's any clues left of us for you to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon. Yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? There's a clue versus there's nothing? Are you kidding me? Why would I put there's nothing? I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then! Let's wipe the smug smile off that Englishman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait! It has been niggling me for but a while, some feel amiss in my memories of the day. Whatever it could be the key of the arriving and the truth about all this. Ketchup! Dr. Will's the really killer I've been. Is? I mean, come on, it's blood, dude, right here. Am I really not gonna notice the blood? Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes, what is it? He's still miles away, probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you have said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigation, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of the steak that you took for the victim's table that day. Wait a minute, what are you trying to... What are you going with this, little boy? Little boy! It's just a memory that has been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eye that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a splattering of blood. What? Oh really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have been happened when you shot the professor. No, that cannot be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything else there. The plate of the steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way the blood from the victim would have ended up directly behind him. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter, which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite from the professor as you were. I beg your pardon? This is beyond ridiculous, fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused have... This could be the moment that my entire career on the police force has been leading on to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate. In the interest of preserving the evidence from the scene of the crime, I took it. Me, and all. And I don't care if they call a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you have been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the surgeon had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there is a bloodstain on the Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't. Quickly, Inspector, the blood, man, to show the court. Of course. Examine the plate as your leisure. No, no blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible! I know I saw it, I'm sure of it. I was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you cannot trust what the Japanese tell you. I couldn't agree more in this case of this disgrace to the empire. I believe we may have finally reached the conclusion in the trial. Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at the courtroom proceeding is painful to watch, but I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. Ain't no way! This sorry-looking steak reveals the fact all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wish to examine it again, be my guest. Was the plate I saw or thought I saw just the figment of my imagination? This isn't now, I've lost. Yunosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final gravel. Huh? Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself, really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to the problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense any objection? That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? There's another clue. Your Excellencies, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding some other clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a nearly affirmed ally of my country, that still is your position, isn't it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court of what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of the beefsteak is this new clue you found? The steak is glued to the plate. It must be the steak? Because everything else I cannot put it. This thing is moved around. This thing is moved around. The plate is moved around. The emblem. Is that a cat? It's a cow, obviously. What the heck? Wait, isn't it moved? Move the thing, move the thing. Isn't it covered the bloodstain, dude? Lift the... Huh? What in the world is this? It's a Koban coin and the hallmark of the Hoei era, I believe. I don't mean it what it is. I mean, what's doing in here? Hello! Hi, baby girl! Mommy's playing the game! You can see it! Hi! Do you want to say hello, Chet? What did she say?
I want to say hello to mommy.
Oh, you want to say hi to mommy? Hi, baby girl. That's an elephant. It's a piece. Did you have a good day today? Did you have a good day today? Thank you. That's Anya from Spy Family. Oh, that's the oval.
Let's let mommy finish.
Mommy's almost done. Is it raining?
No, it's nice out.
Oh. You wanna have the hamster? Hamster. Oh no. Oh no!
It's Ace Ventura.
It's-
Ace Attorney.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck is Ace Ventura? I was really confused. Hi, baby girl. Chet, over here! Hi! Oh, what happened? You have a scratch on your face.
What?
Look, she has a scratch on her face right
yeah.
here. Did you fall? Yeah? Where did you get the scratch here?
Oh.
You fell down on the sidewalk? Today? Yeah?
Okay. Let's let mommy finish her work, okay? You wanna go downstairs?
He cannot have teeth. He cannot have bite marks. Like this? Yo! You tricked me! Now I only have one life! I am so betrayed. Save me. Oh no, don't do it. I should have never listened to Cream. What was I thinking? Stupid Kate. I will save here. I cannot focus while my baby is here. I gotta focus on her. And without focus, I'm just gonna lose. And when I lose, Orange is gonna laugh at me. Ruka, what are you doing? Buddy, you crazy? Holy moly. It's alright, I saved. Ruka. Ruka. But anyways, thank you everyone for watching. I gotta at least continue to finish the case. Cause like we gotta just stop right there. The case is right there. We gotta finish up the whole case. That's like the least I can do. I think you mean finish the game. Monka. I don't know how I can do that while I'm also playing Persona 5R, but thank you everyone. I will see you guys tomorrow for Persona 5R tomorrow. Thank you, thank you. See you guys all tomorrow. Thank you guys. See you.